chat. That's right, peasant chat. Oh, and fly by night tuner chat. Hello, fly by night tuners. You know you're tuning in. You have to tune in. You have to see if I give a shit about what the hell you're doing. Today, what we're going to talk about is the mad dash to become the first to tune the S650 Mustang. Truth be told, we flashed the car on Wednesday, 3 p.m. I didn't say anything on the YDBT Daily because we do this crazy thing called hold up to our agreements. We were told not to talk about it until tuning got released on Thursday. But truth be told, John had already flashed Lund Racing's in-house 2025 premium automatic Mustang with a ghost cam tune, and he's already tried a couple of tips and tricks, and he's going to be on the dyno all next week vetting the files so that, you know, when tuning becomes available, you get a tune that doesn't need a bunch of revisions. Oops, we forgot to add a patch. No. It's going to be vetted, and here you go, and you'll have the best tune possible. So he'll be on the dyno once the Grey Goose gets off the dyno, and he'll be doing some vetting on the S650 platform. But the absolute lunacy of all these guys trying to be the first, trying to be the best, already putting the tombstone on Lund. Lund is dead. They haven't done anything in 3 hours. You will see that this is a marathon and not a sprint. And I will give you guys context as to this S650 not being any better than Gen 3. It should be really called the S550 and a half. There are similar power gains to Gen 3, and I have documented proof that I will show you today. And we'll talk about what is eventually going to win out the tuning. It is not good, believe it or not. The tuning itself is not going to be what sells the tuning. It's going to be a completely different thing. We'll talk about that and many more things, but not before Mr. Bill O'Reilly tells us to do it. Where is it? Live.
We'll do it live.
Okay.
We'll do it live. Fuck it. Do it live. I'll write it and we'll do it live. Fucking thing sucks.
PMAS, Big James and PMAS, he's going to be probably making a couple of tunes for the S550 and a half so that people can get, you know, more air into the 18 manifold. More air, two throttle bodies, more air, better than, oh my God. PMAS, Big James and PMAS. DCT.performance.com. You're going to get your PMAS cold air intake there. You're going to get your 4 Innovation fuel system there. You're going to get your 4-star wheels from there. You're going to get your On3 kits, your Whipple kits, your Roush kits, everything. You're going to get it all from DCT.performance.com. Partsfarm.com. S650s crashing into crowds coming near you now that they're tuned. So be on the lookout for S650, aka S550 and a half parts at Partsfarm.com because a bunch of retards buy this car thinking that it is some kind of, I don't know, completely different vehicle than Gen 3. Partsfarm.com. 2 Auto Solution. He's got a couple of Gen 4s, S650s over there in Puerto Rico, already doing some tuning, messing around. So it's good to see that 2 Auto Solution is up on game with the Mustang stuff. And Bellac Industries, that's right, Bellac Industries. If you're a drug dealer and you know it, clap your hands and get yourself a set of Bellac wheels so that every cop in your neighborhood knows exactly who the fuck you are. Let's say hi to the people here and we'll get after it, talking some shit. I did not bring the live chat over. I'm so stupid. I've been busy just looking up a bunch of previous tuned Gen 3s to prove my point. John Jones, Nick, John Jones, BLS, Joe Swish, Z33 Camzilla, Monty 540, Clean 93 GT, excuse me, Coyote, Ankit, Clint Stroke, Joe Jackson, Coyote Collector, Wesley Stewart, Coyote Kelly, Hatch, Robo Style, Rich 50, Mark Christensen, Sixsuki, Craig Walls, Mr. Billet, Noonan himself, Matt Oliver, Scott Andrews, EPA, Six Sales, Bryson Witt with the Patreon links. And again, I always forget, if you guys want to support the show, support me, give me some money and get yourself a hat from richprince.com/YDBT, YDBT Amory, Dolo, YDBT and Amory, Flap Rim, Curved, Flex Fit, Section 8 shirts, Section 8 sweaters, Hush Money, YDBT, Save the Manuals, Gen 1, 2, 3, GT350, 85 to 86, and 87 to 93, 1320 Didios, F1320, and all the good stuff. Again, guys, this is if you want to support the show, and then you can get a shirt. That's pretty much all I, get from that. A nice little commission. Redbird, Nardi Mercado's a menace. He is out there talking shit to everybody. 1080 Rob, Bryson Witt, Hatch, Clean 93 GT, Yanni, EPA, JC Hatch, Six Hills, Clean 93 GT, JD Swag, Josh Roy, Bryson Witt again, Boosted, Carlos, Coyote Philly, EPA, Cabin Air Filter, I'm Hung So Low, Rich Big Guns, 50 Stallion, Holly, 50 Ghostburn, all the usual suspects, guys. Thank you very much for being here. Oh my God, 2 Auto Solution. Sending 100 doll hairs to support the peasantry. Okay, so you guys have seen these S650 retards and the tuners looking like piranhas when a piece of meat gets thrown in the river. Blah, 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 blah. Look at this. Oh my God. Yes, we finally did it. Yeah. Oh my God. Look, tuning. And I'm like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Do you need this so bad? Look at me. Do you need this so bad? Do you need it so bad to work that you're willing to act excited over power that has been made 7 years ago on a pretty similar platform, the Gen 3? You don't think so? Well, let's simply take a walk down history lane. This is American Muscle in 2018, tuning a stock 2018. Then they put a JLT E85 and exhaust on it.
508 to the tire. I guess you could say 509, really, if we're rounding up. 451 torque.
So, 2018 GT manual, JLT 120, long tubes and a catback. According to them, their baseline was a little high at 430, and they got all the way up to 509 rear wheel horsepower on their dyno. Then, Junior, way back 7 years ago, the Lund Racing page, it has 49,000 views. He dynoed a bone stock 2018 with absolutely no modifications, 0 modifications, and he did 3 pulls. 424, 429, 430.
Now you're going to see other shops with dyno jets, Mustang dynos, and you're going to see a variance between 424, 420, 430. So some of these polls had the knock sensor adding more timing. So the 430 actually had 24 degrees of timing because the knock sensor was happy. That's why you're seeing a little bit more power. What this does is it may skew your baseline. So if you have this baseline and you get a tune, that tune may or may not pick up what you expect it to pick up, because there's always going to be a limitation to what the knock sensor wants to do. And from our strategy with tuning, we are going to leave cushion with pump gas, because there's going to be variability in the quality of the fuel from pump to pump and from season to season. So
people don't like hearing that. People go, I want to rag it out on pump gas.
Highest stock tune.
So the highest, then they put a tune on the car. So they went from a highest stock tune 430, then tuned, then I believe E85.
And our tune only versus what a JLT intake picks up.
Oh, I'm sorry. That is, I think, on 93, if I'm not mistaken.
And I also have a backup run.
So, stock 430, stock with a tune 441, stock tune and a JLT hood open 450. And they backed up the pull.
The JLT. Right there.
So it backed up to a 449. So stock 430, stock tuned 441, stock tuned JLT 450, backup run 449. Then
what I have up now,
you have stock tuned JLT, stock tuned JLT E85. 462 through cats, through manifolds. Guys, this Gen 3, that junior tune that we had an in-house Gen 3 is making similar, if not more, horsepower than the current S650 that people are touting over there. So Junior went live on Friday after tuning was released officially, HP Tuners, and he basically kind of laid it down what we're looking to do.
For that. So dyno next week, I know there's going to be people that are going to be releasing tunes possibly today, or people that haven't even touched the car that are taking pre-buys, which I think is super stupid. So we're going to take our time with it. That's how we always been with it. We're super methodical, and there's probably not going to be a whole lot to pick up on pump gas. I know that some people are going to claim they did, but I'm going to do the testing right, It's going to be on a hub dyno, obviously, so it takes the tires out of the equation for picking up minuscule horsepower gains. And then we'll put it on ethanol. We'll test taking the carbon traps out to see if there's a gain. And we got some other things we want to test. And then after that, it'll probably get a supercharger. Whether it's a Whipple or a Roush, both, I have no idea. And yeah, so we'll take our time with it, much like we did with the 21, 23 F-150. Everyone's just looking at a car that's not running yet.
So basically what he ended up doing is he ended up putting a tune on it, ghost cam tune, just to, you know, give you the fact that it was flashed with a ghost cam tune. Again, I think he flashed it on Wednesday, 3 p.m. There is actual literature stating that Lund did flash it first. But anyway, you can go to his Facebook page and watch the whole half-hour live that he basically explained what the issue, what the deal is. You guys that think that the S550 and a half, S650 is somehow going to destroy the Gen 3 are making me laugh. The car is making the same horsepower as a car that had one throttle body and one cold air. Again, guys, the 24 and up is an 18 manifold with 2 throttle bodies and 2 cold airs. You would think if there's something to be gained in the induction system that you would have seen crazy gains. But no, they're basically making the exact same horsepower the Gen 3 is making. And a lot of people are going to go, yeah, but it's going to perform better. How when it's heavier? On average, if you simply Google 2024 Mustang curb weight, it will tell you that they have a range that the Mustang GT goes from 3,827 to 4,012 pounds. The 2018 was 3,827 manual, automatic 3,832, and the automatic convertible is the heaviest one of all at 4,012 pounds. So if in general, the 24 is heavier because of the infotainment, because of all the other bullshit, and it makes the same power as Gen 3, how is it better? I understand. These tuners and these fans need it. They need it to sound better. Why? They need the tuning. They absolutely need the tuning. When I wake up every day in the ticket system, pre-HP tuners releasing tuning, my ticket system was full. Gen 1, 2, 3 Mustang, Gen 2, 3, 4 F-150, and Gen 1, 2, 3 swaps, and a bunch of other stuff, dealers, people, you name it. It's ridiculous how busy we are. So I thought, man, this is just going to make it even more busy. That's all. All it's going to do is just put more of a workload on us. But these other tuners were probably needing this infusion to the point of they're doing pre-buys. Pre-buys is one of the most ridiculous things on the planet. A pre-buy. So that the guy gets infused with $10,000 in cash before he sends tunes out. Oh, and let's talk about the desperation, and let's talk about what the modus operandi is, the method of operation of most of these tuners. How many times have you been on Facebook and you're like, my tuner ghosted me. What do I do now? I sent an email to my tuner. I haven't heard back for 2 or 3 weeks. What's going on? That doesn't just automatically change when a new car comes out. Once the cloud is over, once chasing all these dumb little things is over, they fall back into their feminine energy and go, yeah, I'm just going to take my time with it because who cares? There's going to be a new guy coming along. Who gives a shit? So what's going to win this contest? The marathon mindset. Sprinting, get after it first. First to this, first to nines, first to eights, first to this, first to... It doesn't matter. It becomes a consistency thing. Who is the most consistent? Who has the best turnaround time? Who has the best customer service? Who has the best overall tuning, not ragged edge, blow it up? Because a lot of you idiots that think that you should be on the ragged edge of tuning, I'm sure you can afford a motor, right? If you want ragged edge tuning, no problem. Can you, I want ragged edge but safe. Does not exist. Ragged edge and safe does not exist. Ragged edge is ragged edge. Blow up, blow up. That's why when in that video of the 18 Mustang, John's like, we leave a cushion because pump to pump, if you go from Marathon fuel to Shell fuel, back to 7-Eleven fuel, back to Costco fuel, their knock sensors are going to act vastly different. So a lot of people need that S650 to work. They need the infusion of cash. They think they're going to corner the market. And honestly, when I wake up and I'm one of 3 tuners at Lund Racing and my ticket system is full before any 24 Mustang tuning came out, all that tells me is that we can afford ourselves the opportunity to take our time vetting the file properly. Like he said, it's going to get a supercharger, more than likely a twin inlet Roush or twin inlet Magnuson. They're probably going to shovel Whipple on it. They're probably going to do a whole bunch of vetting so that when it goes live, you have options. S550 and have S650 NA, E85, and then, cold airs generally don't matter. And then you have a Roush twin inlet tune and a Whipple tune, and then the return cell fuel system has to be vetted. All limiters have to be moved out of the way because you guys that receive some tunes, all of a sudden we're stuck at 150 miles an hour on the dyno, and you're like, what the fuck is happening? That's what happens when you release tuning before it's vetted. Shit like that. Also, do you guys think that there is some kind of crazy magic that happens after 7,500 RPMs on an S650? Do you guys think there are people saying, rev it higher, rev it higher? The cams are the same. The manifold's the same. What the fuck do you mean, rev it higher? What do you think is going to happen after a certain RPM with the S650? Do you think at 7,500 RPMs, it's just going to go straight up in a line? Is that what you think is going to happen? Ryan over on Patreon made a nice little graph of what, he thinks might happen after 7,500 RPMs. Just an upward spike. Just straight up. Like, 65. Oh, straight up. You got to rev it higher. Oh my God, you got to rev it higher. Guys, if you think the S650 makes power over 7,500 RPMs, I got a fucking bridge to sell you motherfuckers. Again, it's an 18 manifold with 2 throttle bodies and 2 cold air, proving that whatever the air pump can process is whatever the air pump can process. There is no magic in the sauce unless cams or whatever. And then you saw people sticking Cobra Jet intakes in this thing. They put a Cobra Jet intake and they baselined it at 350. A hub dyno baselining at 350 is wild work. And then they were claiming 100 horsepower gains. And I'm like, if you think a Cobra Jet intake is going to add 100 horsepower over your tuned baseline, I have 2 bridges to tell you guys. So Lund Racing is going to take the marathon approach. We're going to take our time, just like, again, who dominates all Coyote tuning? What makes you think that we're not going to dominate this tuning? And again, maybe not in the first month or 2, but eventually, once the dust settles, it's going to be the same old thing. So what's happening is the negative sell. How do we get people over here? Well, what's the playbook of these guys? Lund sucks. No proof, no verifiable data. Why would you suck off a Lund tune if Lund tune sucks? So it's kind of interesting that they sell your product without saying the name Lund. Just like if you're in politics, sell your ideas without saying the name Donald Trump. Sell your ideas without mentioning your opponent. Say why you're better. Show why you're better. Can't? Negative sell is the only way. So the funny thing is, these people that do the negative sell, fuck Lund sucks. I've seen this. There's so much to be gained. Wait till you see my cam timing. Wait till you see my shift schedule. It's who the fuck are you? So when you have no previous Coyote experience and you start tuning on Gen 3 and up, alarms should go off. But you guys know that. You're the initiated. You know that shit. You don't believe these guys. These guys are going to be out there trying to sell shit. And the Lunds are going to go, nah, we're not going to sell shit until we're ready to sell shit. So if you have an S650 and you happen to be a Lund customer, hang tight. We got you. If you are the leftover, the guy floating around and not paying attention and wanting the clout and wanting to be the first, there's tunes out there for you. We probably don't want you as a customer if you're like one of these guys that, want to be the first of everything. I have seen people say, I want to be the first. We're not your people. We're going to eventually release tuning when we are comfortable with the tuning. And the thing is, I think it's even better to wait because you can let these guys do their thing. And then you're going to go, oh, by the way, here you go. And then you have, let's just say, more options, as opposed to being stuck with one thing. I think it'll be a good thing in the long run once you see what Lund has in store. Really good stuff, really exciting. But I don't think it's going to be this juggernaut of a this is funny words, this juggernaut of a platform to make me so freaking busy because it didn't sell that well. And all these guys are just chasing. If you have an NA S650 on pump gas and an exhaust, you're not going to gain that much at all across all tuners. And if you're like, well, I want to get the guy that gets me, okay, then stick with the guy that gave you 35 degrees of timing on pump gas. Stick with him, because if that's what you want, that's what you deserve. And if your shit blows up, not on me. So we'll talk about that. The snake oil piranha, just weird way of these people trying to get clout. Most of them don't own the platform. That is the wildest work. The wildest work to me is using a customer's car to vet a platform that you're tuning. Meaning you are not tuning your car. You are tuning someone else's car. And then you're just trying stuff. Junior takes the car home. Junior puts it on the dyno, leaves it on the dyno, tries a bunch of different things. Senior's a wiring guru, so he'll start messing around and seeing how we can get around certain things. So I think it'll be very good for us to wait. And I'm slammed already in terms of tuning, so we don't need the 24 platform. The 24 platform needs us. We'll talk about it. Have you seen the shenanigans on Facebook and Instagram? All of a sudden, tuners popping up that you've never heard of before, all of a sudden claiming to be the best. I love it. I love hearing it. And I love the thought process that Lund is taking into this platform. To be fair, the comment sections have been lined up with people saying they're waiting for Lund to drop their tune. Not really. Depending, yes, I think that IMRC does a great job going in there and saying, shut the fuck up. It's not 2015 anymore. It's not 2018 anymore. And this isn't a brand new platform. 2015, look, 14 to 15, new platform. Different engine, different transmission, different controller. 2015 to 2017 to 2018, new platform 2018. DI, PI, higher compression, different heads, different cams, different everything, different transmission, different gear ratios in the manual, and a different computer. What is the difference between 2023 and 2024? A throttle body and a cold air and a controller. Same engine, same trans, different controller. Same chassis even. This is not a new platform. This is a continuation and a refinement of a current platform. So who's going to be the best at tuning it? The people that tuned the previous platform the best. That's literally how it's going to be. If you have to negative sell the competition, your product ain't shit. Tennessee put a manifold, Gen 3 with mods, and ran it up to nearly 8K, and it showed around 40 more horsepower with the second manifold, but they didn't disclose all the other shenanigans. Savar Martiner, the fact that you even paid attention to those guys makes me laugh. I've always seen people saying they're going to wait for Lund. I've also seen people, look, I think you have your baked in customer, meaning if you're this guy's fan, you're going to wait for him. If you're this guy's fan, you're going to wait for him. So people are tribal. I ride out with this guy no matter what. I ride out with this guy no matter what. Lund stopped tuning me because I did stupid shit. So now I'm going to rep this guy. So they have their own groups. And Lund has their group. And based on just pure volume, I would say that Lund has the biggest umbrella or the biggest tent in the whole group. The guys that are left over, that are just flailing, going, well, let me try this guy's tune, let me try this guy's tune, and let me try this guy's tune on 93 octane. And then they go to a dyno and they do one pull on each tune. Lund does 3 pulls on each tune and gets an average of the 3. And then they go, well, this proves it. This guy made 0.23 more horsepower, meaning he is the best. Then they get it off the dyno. Fuck! Put the Lund tune back in. Shit. Smoother, starts better, drives better. I'm not gonna say anything on Facebook. Out of the blue question, does Lund work on Brett LaSala? No, we don't fuck with him at all in terms of tuning. He does Motec stuff. Stop thinking that we fuck with him at all. Like in terms of working with him on the tuning or the track stuff. He has his own program. We don't fuck with his race program at all. He does his own thing. We're friendly, but no. Damn, someone beat me to it saying that some of these tuners are selling snake oil. Alex, do you think the single-handedly encourage forward to release tuning? Okay, that's a great, and this is the best part about the show, the speculating. So let's say people are like, how did they figure it out? How did HP tuners figure out how to, well, I know, but I can't say, but based on my street alpha, and if you are a fan, you've heard me saying this shit. If Diesel does it first, Mustang is right next, or F-150. Remember? a lot of you guys remember that you people that watch the show and listen, if Diesel figures it out, then Mustang will figure it out. And F-150 will figure it out. Why? It's a trickle-down effect. Everyone in the tuning space talks to each other. Forget tuning. Let's segment both things separately. HP tuners, SCT, and everyone else are programmers. They index the file. Their job is to decompile the file, make it flashable, and make the car flash, and that's it. Tuners take that decompiled file, that vetted, checksummed file, that thing that bootloaded properly, and they tune the car. They program the car to go fast. So when you say HP tuners, it means indexers and programmers. When you say Lund Racing, it's tuning the people that actually make it go fast. So if there are things that the tuner needs, let's say they hit a limiter, let's say they hit something and they don't have access to the saucy shit, they hit up the programmer and go, programmer, I hit a limiter here. Here's a log. I think it's this. Then the programmer goes into the matrix, finds it, makes an editable table, raises limiters, updates the beta, update your beta, and you have it in there. Oh, there it is, raise limiters. That's how it works. So when, let's say the Diesel world gets it figured out, and the 23, 22, I think it's 23, I don't know, the new Scorpion or whatever the Diesel is, when that got figured out, it's a bleed down effect. It goes, whoa, we figured it out. So then this guy talks to this guy, programmer to programmer, and they're like, how'd you do it? Well, it's actually a lot simpler than we thought. We were doing this way. We were sticking a finger up our butt. Come to find out, we have to stick our fist up our butt. And once you stick your fist up your butt, you flare out with your fingers and the car magically takes a file. Really? Yeah, you're right. And that's what basically happened. It was a method of, let's just say, knocking on the door and the car opened. Just like Neo in the Matrix, you had to go in at a certain time. When the power goes out, before the power comes back on, you have 3 seconds. You have to open that door and then you see the creator. So that's how it worked. So once that happened, I think Ford might have gone like this. Whew, thank God. Yes, they went, thank God the aftermarket figured it out. So now that the aftermarket figured it out, shit falls out of pallets. Computers start getting shipped here. Hey, well, you two guys meet at a park, they shake hands, and a USB stick ends up in the other guy's hand. Now, Ford, I am purely speculating. So now Ford goes, well, they figured it out, so why not give them access to everything? And all of a sudden, here you go. The market is off and running. Because Ford has to sell Mustangs. Ford has to sell Mustangs. Plain and simple. So Ford saw the sales in 24 fall off a cliff. But if you were like an engineer or software guy and you had the keys to the castle, you would be put in jail from the NDAs and the non-competes and all the bullshit that you signed if you were to help the aftermarket figure it out. But since the aftermarket figured it out, now people are like, you know what? There is no protection anymore. The Mustang is tunable now. So why not give them all the sauce? Meaning just access to more parameters. That's really, when I say sauce, there isn't one switch that you turn on and it unlocks 10,000 horsepower. No, it's like, hey, there's all these parameters. There's 5 parameters that are viewable. Now here's the access to the other 20. That's it. So then once they get a hold of that, the tuning gets better and better and better and better and better. And don't be surprised. Look at what you saw. You saw not just the Mustang get figured out. You saw Raptor, Bronco. You saw F-150 21 to 23. And oh my God, imagine if you sent out your computer to get unlocked only to then hear, now you don't need to do that no more. We could just flash it through the OBD2 port. What the fuck? Right? But who cares? Now you don't have to ship out your computer anywhere. So you will see this magical door opening, like Neo in the Matrix meeting the creator, and you have access to it all because you know how to knock on the door. You know which parameters. You know how to put the fist up your ass and flare out your fingers. You know how to make everything work. So I think it's just a trickle-down effect. And again, Diesel did it first. Mustang did it. And now the tuners, it's up to the tuners to make the car fast. And now Ford breathed a sigh of relief because they saw 24 sold like shit, 25 was selling like shit. And just like I said, can someone do me a big favor? Please find me, link me the episode where I put the little graph of 24 Mustang sales and then 25 Mustang sales. And then all of a sudden tuning comes out and the sales start to catch up because now if you want to buy a 24, that's up to you. I prefer you get a 21 to 23. If you want everything, there's turbo kits now, there's ESS shit now, that everything is in there now. The car is lighter, the tuning is vetted. But if for whatever reason you want to buy a fucking 24, have at it. Tuning will be available. And I've seen people say, well, I didn't have a reason to buy a 24 before. Now I do have a reason if you want that. I still think it's a dud because it's heavy and it's not anything special over Gen 3. But it's the latest and greatest. The 10R80 shifts a little better. At the end of the day, I still don't think it's a better car than the Gen 3 because of the weight. Plain and simple, and it's not that much different. It's just a more complicated Gen 3. I am more curious about the updates and differences on the new 10R80. That's probably the only upside of the Gen 4, whatever you want to call it, that the shifting is a little better. And according to Junior, he's like, this is the best the 10R80 has felt because look, even Junior hadn't even cared about this car. He's like, why would I care about the car until tuning comes out? Just like I said, why would I care about the car until tuning comes out? I cared about the brand going away because Ford locked tuning. That's why I called it a dud from the get-go. And you saw the sales tactics that people were doing. People were literally saying 800 horsepower on pump gas. And I'm like, that's what we've reverted to? Now that tuning is available, now you can breathe a sigh of relief if you're a 24 Mustang owner and not worry about a 55-pound injector going 8s on E30, which is the most ridiculous fucking shit I had ever heard in my life. People that were touting this thing were psychotic for sales. So once the Whipple file gets indexed, which it will. Once the Roush file gets indexed, which it will, you will see tuning open up big time for this car. I still think a 21 to 23 is your best bet. 10R80, ESS, G3X, 100mm pulley, return soft fuel system, ID1300s, 4s, 60 to 130, 950s to 940s in the quarter mile. Stock stuff. Alec, do you think you'll ever get access to the DCT tuning? Now that is Tremec. So look, to this day, there is no tuning for the DCT on the...
To this day.
There is no tuning for the Corvette DCT. There is no tuning for the Predator DCT. There will be no tuning for if a new vehicle comes out. If Ford comes out with a Cobra, Boss, Cobra Jet, Shelby GT500, and it has a DCT, I don't think tuning will be available for it if Tremec is providing the DCT. I'll be back. Time to find it. Thank you, sir. Terminator. Thanks for the $4. Someone else gave me $50. The Parts Farm. $50. Thank you so much, the Parts Farm, for giving me $50. I appreciate you very much. Good morning. Good morning. Never heard that expression before. I wonder if they're going to call home and reset the ACU. So you can shut off the device that phones home and just turn off automatic updates. I think you can go into the infotainment system and start turning off switches and say automatic updates off. Now, sync will not automatically update and potentially find a, mismatch. This car, worst case scenario, it has happened on 21 up F-150 where it has reverted the tune to stock with an over-the-air update. A simple, supposedly, from what I hear, shutting off the over-the-air update seems to fix that issue. Also, I still think that you need to turn off adaptive learning on 10R80 stuff. In the last quarter, we have made the suggestion that if you can turn off, because we can't, turn off adaptive learning on your 10R80 Gen 3, that the shifts are more consistent and there's less issues that happen. So the learned adaptive logic that is in these cars, I think should be shut off. Once you drive it a little bit and once it's running good, okay, boom, shut off. Let it stay with that learned feature as opposed to adapting to different conditions. Or if you do a wide open throttle pull, it goes, hey, I'm expecting this pressure here and this pressure here, and it has this weird intermittent flare. I think it's just good to just shut it all off. Alex, I was having a debate with a friend. What do you think affected sales most of the S650? The fact that they underperformed for the price or the fact that there was no tuning available? Tuning tuning, tuning. Performance lacking can be made up with tuning. You are seeing these guys say, oh, look at that, we made 450 on a hub dyno on pump gas, same as Gen 3. Oh, look, we made 480, 475 on E85 on a hub dyno, same with Gen 3. So the power can come back. What affected the sales the most, and people will say, no, it's the price. It's the price. Shut the fuck up. It's the tuning. And this is why. The M-class cars, M2, 3, 4, 5, whatever, had their best sales years in 24 and 25, which just so happened to coincide with the years that the Camaro, Charger, Challenger went away and the Mustang locked tuning. So you go out there on the American car space and go, what do you have, America? Nothing but an untunable car unless you buy a $12,000 Whipple. And people went, okay, Germany, what do you got? M2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Even a fucking SUV with the S58. And we could tune it today. Once you ship it to Russia, bring it back. Downpipe E50 Hero, 9-second quarter mile. They had their best sales in 24-25. Mustang had its worst sales 24-25. Locked tuning, Camaro, Charger, Challenger went away. No American competition, and they sold less. There are people on Instagram that are saying, all cars go. Not the M series. The M-class cars had their best sales ever. 24-25. Because Camaro, Challenger, Charger went away and Mustang locked the tuning. Now that the tuning is unlocked, you will see a slight dip up. A slight flare in sales. If we graph it out over the year, we'll report back. January 2026, assholes. You will see the graph, the Biden graph, where all of a sudden at 3 in the morning, he got 80,000 votes in Wisconsin and won. Boom. Same thing with 24 and up, 25 and up Mustang sales. You will see a mad dash for people to be up on the latest and greatest, develop parts, push the tuning, push the parts, sales will go up. Just like I said on the Street Alpha podcast and how I've been saying since 2023 that if it's not tunable, it's not going to sell. Junior did it live when it went on Facebook Friday. Some engineer from Ford got a briefcase full of cash in some parking lot. Hopefully it's a Boss 351. Sales of 24-25 Mustang can be tracked by how many tuning devices get sold. Not really, because they have sold 20,000 24 Mustangs. So I don't think that... Okay, VIN number. We, in my opinion, because we need your VIN number when we tune you, we need to, in my opinion, not track, but... Yeah, track. There has to be an Excel file that tells you what a 25 VIN number looks like, and then track how many 25 VIN numbers have been tuned over 24. And then if 25 VIN numbers exceed 24 VIN numbers, you know that there's something going on. Turn off over-the-air updates. Sounds mad suspect. Someone's going to rat on that and exploit. No, just turn off the over-the-air update. Doesn't matter. Rat on what? It's off. Just turn off your updates. That's it. Yes, adaptive learning is asked. What is the best final gear ratio for a four-wheel drive F-150 centrifugal roll race setup? 355, I would say, but 331 seems to be the best overall. Where can you turn off the adaptive learning? You have to get, I think, some forescan or IDS tool or something, and turn off adaptive stuff. Rip my super chat. Oh, I'm sorry. What did I do? Terminator, Hatch 450. Did you send a super chat? Here it is. Alex, will Raptor R Max Effort built 10R80 be faster than 2020 GT500 Max Effort? No. Wait, whoa. No. A Max Effort 2020 GT500 can go 9.2. You think a Raptor R is going to go 9.2? Fuck. You know what you need to make a Raptor R go 9.2? Sheesh. Tuning unlock on Friday, sells on Monday. ML likes the finger flare with that Russian chick. Nice. Alex, I'm telling you that last Street Alpha podcast caused them to pull the trigger on releasing the code. Okay, let's not make my head any bigger than it is. But let's talk about that. The Street Alpha interview comes out, and I shine a light on people that generally were not aware of what was happening on the Ford side. To the point where even Tukes was like, really? I go, yeah. They sold this, they sold that. So people were like, Now, I don't know how far reaching. By the way, that interview was up to what, 80-something thousand views? Awesome. 3 hours. So let's say a young guy that works at Ford likes Street Alpha because it's an import thing. You know, he's up on game. And he's like, wait a minute, this guy is telling me that the Mustang sales are hurting because of lack of tuning. Do you think that's the case? And then maybe it trickles up. But I don't think it directly caused it. But it sure as hell is funny, right? Isn't the timing kind of funny? That 2 weeks ago, I did a Street Alpha interview. It airs. It does really well. And after that, tuning comes out. I am not saying I caused it. But I'm sure people that weren't aware are now aware and go, hey, there you go. So you can make that correlation based on the timing. But I don't think I was directly, I don't have anyone at Ford that I trust and know to get me that insider information. That's a tight ship. But I guarantee there's someone on the controller side. There's a company that's a contractor of this guy, and they're like, you know what? That's true. Whoops! Here's a pallet of USB sticks. Have fun. iPhone Home is still enabled in the tune. I think so. Is there any advantage to running a positive flips Supercharger Gen 3 down the draft strip without an air inlet filter? Closed box while the MAF sensor read okay. So Cobra Jet does that, but I think they have speed density. I think you should always run a filter. It depends because it is so crucial for the air to come in straight and in a laminar fashion than to cause a ram air effect. You understand? Even the Cobra Jet, but the Cobra Jet is speed density, so it's a completely different thing. You know what I'm saying? Does Junior have one now? Have what? The 25? Yeah, we have a 25. We literally have a 2025 Mustang. We bought a 2025 Mustang last week. Didn't tell nobody why. We don't need to tell nobody. We don't need the clout. We keep it under wraps. We all knew internally. And I had 2 episodes where I was like, ugh. And then tuning was released internally to certain testers. Now, this is something that's a teaching moment, in my opinion. And take note, programmers. Loose lips sinks ships. So when you trust thieves, dishonorable people, people that got into the game just for money, not to give you the best product. People that you know are nefarious, people that you know are a little shady, people that you know are a little sideways. If you trust them, hey, don't do this, don't do that until this date, and then they show you they're doing it anyway, you would think that should teach you not to fuck with those people, or at least I'm not going to give them the latest and greatest. And then another company is honorable. Honor is everything. Handshake deals, holds up to their end of the bargain, but then we get treated the same as everybody else. That's some bullshit. So don't be surprised if I'm not out there singing the praises of any one particular software, because I'm an honorable guy. I hold up to my end of the bargain. And if I see people fucking with people that I don't fuck with, I'm not fucking with you. Alejandro Flores. As a Lund Racing employee, I'm going to do what I'm told by my employer when it comes to my employment. Anything else, I could talk my shit. That's what I do. Sam, S550, thank you so much for the $50 channel support. Thank you so much. That helps a lot. The super chats really help a lot. Is 373 too aggressive for F-150 on a 10R80? Probably, unless you're rock climbing. I mean, maybe if Midnight got their hands on it, maybe. Alex has the juice. Gen 2 is king, brother. Gen 2 is always king. GGD with the Whipple or Max stock blower mods with fueling R85. Cat delete headers looking pretty good. No, it's not. I can't find it. Too many times we have talked about the sales. It was probably 3 or 4 episodes ago where I put out a graph, and, you know, I'll make a standalone video about it once sales figures come out. So let's say third quarter Mustang sales reports come out, November, right? So if in third quarter November, the percentage, because it was tracking 19% down, and if third quarter sales come up and the sales figures get tighter, it's tuning. So Ford, listen, stop with this tuning locking shit. Stop with the tune locking shit. Okay? I get it. EPA and CARB and government regulations. Bobby Trump is in there now. So when you come out with a new controller in 2027, because if you were to follow lineage, that's what y'all do. Y'all change controllers every 2 years, right? Copperhead, 11 to 14, 15 to 17, 1791, Tricore, 18, its own thing, 1920, TC298, something else, 21 to 23, something else. 24, 25, MG, 26 and up, 27 and up. Who the fuck knows? Some quantum computer. Lund on top, I called out every coyote with a stick ECU in Cali, Nevada, and Arizona, and nobody stepped up. 661 Racing is one of those guys that listened to everything we said. He has a Gen 1 computer. The car is not fast. It's stupid fast. So if you want to see what the capabilities of a good builder, a good listener, and a good tuner, 661 Racing is that guy. He enters no prep events and tends to dominate. He enters street car events, tends to dominate. Now you are in that zone where you do the John Travolta meme and you're like, ain't nobody here. All those people that talk shit, all those people in the valley, all those people in South this, South that, they ain't here. So you are now in that weird zone that you have to race cars that look like they're pro mods. And you're like, God damn, yep, that's what is your prize when you become really good at building a car and listen to your tuner? Nobody to race. Lund for the win, 661 Racing, thank you so much. I'll be back. I was looking too far back, exactly. Rooster says, now we can see what Roush Blower can do over the Whipple so people can shut the fuck up. Look, I've always said that the 2650 twin inlet blower, look at what I have going on with my GT500. I have a twin inlet 2650 on a low compression deal, and it gets it badass. So imagine you have a 12-to-1 compression, aftermarket tuning, E85. Now, will it take more boost to achieve a similar run? Yes, because the fucking Whipple is bigger. It's 3 liters. And it's on its what? 6th generation rotor, right? You're on your 6th generation rotor. The 2650 has had the same TVS since 2017. The 2.6 liter Supercharger has had the same rotor pack since 2018, I think. And Whipple has had 3 or 4, Gen 3, Gen 4, Gen 5, Gen 6. Just stuff TVS rotors in it at this point. Didn't Ford make an e-bike recently? Yeah, okay. Probably lock tuning too. DCT is still a spendy trans to fix. The GTR stuff is wild. That the only thing that gives me hesitation about the GT500 is the DCT being unlocked. Now we can... Well, the only reason I would not buy a GT500 is the following. It's not a good vehicle for me. It's extremely heavy. The engine bay is busy. It just looks like a fucking hot mess. And just open an engine bay. Look at the GTD engine bay. Isn't it embarrassing that a $300,000 car has the busiest engine bay ever with wires and vacuum shit going everywhere? But what would be the use case? Someone corrected me the other day of that vehicle. Like a daily road racing car. It's 4,000 pounds. So if I wanted to do a track day, I gotta bring it's gonna be $1,500. Why? Tires, $1,500. There goes it's 4,000 pounds swinging it around a track. So it's not a good vehicle for me. Is it a good roll vehicle? Yes. Is it a better roll vehicle than a 10R80 ESS car? No. So to me, it's a flex vehicle that I don't want. Oh, there we go. Bryson Witt. 1 hour, 28 minute mark. Let's go. Okay. So 1 hour, 28 minute mark. This was me talking about the fact that what will happen. Boy, you're good, Bryson. Okay. So listen up. I said this 9 days ago before tuning came out, before anything came out, blah, 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 blah. Remember, guys, I need to get you up on game. Sales. Let's say there was a graph, right? Like, red, is this good? Yeah, sure. So let's do red. Let's do black. So let's say there's a chart, right? This is very crude, very crude. Let's say this is the trajectory of 24 Mustang sales from, let's say, January, right? Let's say, actually, I could do better. I could do way better. Okay. Okay, there we go with that. Okay, so that's not straight. Okay, so let's say this is January, and this is December. Oh, Jesus. So let's say this is 2024, right? 2024. So let's say 2024 is in black. And let's say the sales for Mustang went like this, right? Oh, Jesus Christ, Alex. Okay, what the fuck am I doing? Home, and we're going to go here. Okay, get out of there. Get out of there. Where the hell? I'm terrible at this. You could tell I don't do this at all. I don't do this shit at all. Okay, so let's say the sales for Mustang, right, were like this, 2024, right? And they reached whatever they had there. So now let's say it is 2025 is in gray, and it's selling 31% under, right? And it's performing badly, 31% under. And right around here, which would be what? Let's say July. I'm telling you guys, it's almost scary how accurate this is. And this was before I knew anything about tuning being released, right? Let's say in July, all of a sudden, you see this happen. Similar to what happened with Joe Biden, right? And all of a sudden, the sales start to almost match what happened in 2024. What would you attribute that to? Imagine this is the sales graph that happens with 24 in red and 25 in gray. I'm telling you guys, I think that there is going to be some kind of similar situation. And people say, how do you know this stuff, Alex? How are you so smart? I'm not smart. I'm really stupid. I just pay attention to trends. Pay attention to trends. Why would anyone look at the 24 Mustang if you couldn't tune it? I'd rather get an M2, which M2s I like a lot, M3 or whatever. Oh, wait, it's available. I want the latest and greatest. I want the new body style. I want to go to the local track with the new nose and NA run 10s and boosted run 9s with a centrifugal, or roll race into the 4s with a turbo or a centrifugal. Yeah, I want to do it with the new shit. And then sales go up. And then you go, wow. And then Ford is going to do this. This is what Ford's going to do. Hey, what the? How did that happen? Sales went up. Did something happen to cause sales to go up? And then some dickhead executive, yeah, we did the 000 program. Comes to show that the data shows that people really wanted good financing. No, it's the tuning. Careful, Alex, don't get copyrighted on your own shit, right? I've been considering a blower for my 350. Whipple seems to be the move. Just not sure if the Gen 6 is worth the hype. ESS seems interesting. Just a street car. I like the top end. ESS. If you like the top end, ESS. Saw Rami's video. Will Gen 4 be able to handle less power due to the head spacer? Gen 4 Mustang does not have a head spacer. F-150 does. Alex Ross painting a happy little sales line there. Exactly. EPA says, can't tell if the graph is talking about Mustangs or the 2020 election. Well, that's why I'm leaning towards the Whipple, Joe. But I do like the Sentry sound and would make more top end of the Voodoo more. I've had a customer, I think his name is Justin Valenta. He has a 115 millimeter pulley on a ESS G3X GT350, and it is wild to see the airflow spike after 7,000 RPMs because he shifts at 8,200 GT350. You know, no low end torque, and it's like the blower is huffing, and then it goes like it just whole. I could not imagine what the pull of a GT350 feels like on a G3X with a 115 millimeter pulley. Still stock fuel system. I'm going to tell him to get a returns off fuel system. I think that's what's happening. I think what's happening right now, he's reaching kind of like the end of what the dual stock pumps. He could either have a fuel rail issue, meaning the rails are now a restriction, or a fuel pump issue. I'm going to tell him to update the fuel system if he wants to run it with that pulley, because there is a fuel rail pressure code that keeps popping up. And I'm like, I just think you have a restriction in your fuel rail, to be honest with you. Ford is going to think that it was the key fob rev that messed up sales. It's common sense and simple thinking and concepts. This is the thing, Miniback Madman. A lot of people cannot make the correlation if sales go up on the S650 because tuning became available. Now, I'm not going to dick ride this S650. I've always told you guys, if you want to go fast today, Gen 2 is the king. If you want 10R80 and roll, Gen 3 ESS G3X is king based on the data that I see. If you want the latest and greatest for some reason on a heavier car, okay, then have at it. But I am not going to suck that car's dick. I still think it's a dud compared to the previous generations because it makes the same power and it's heavier. Imagine you have an extra throttle body, an extra cold air, and you make the same power, the same power as the Gen 3. So what is that second throttle body and second cold air doing? Not a goddamn thing. Bryson, he's Mosa. Oh, nice. Alex has been gaslighting us for years, and he actually works for Ford. Wouldn't that be awesome? Wouldn't that be awesome if Ford goes, fuck my ass, Elon Musk. What?
Take my ass, Elon Musk.
Right, exactly.
Take my ass, Elon Musk.
I agree. Why don't you work with the
I
aftermarket?
could go for a stiff glass of anal sex right now.
I agree.
Here at Ford, we're innovators. First, we make slow NAA Mustangs. Then we got rid of the shifter in the GT 500. We are happy to announce your driver's seat will have a dildo with sensors so that when you squeeze your asshole, it will cause the car to upshift, and the feedback from the shitster will make you... We all know where the last V8 left. We were never the fastest. And Dodge pushed our shit in all the way out of our...
Poor Jim Farley. Look, this is your sign, Ford. This is your sign to work with the aftermarket. Stop shunning the aftermarket, because if you need to sell Mustangs, because the worst thing that could happen for a Mustang fan is that Mustang never gets made or misses out on a production year or two. Corvette, I think, had a production year where they didn't make Corvettes. Camaro has had couple of stints where they did not make Camaro. Charger, Challenger, many stints where they didn't make anything. Mustang has always been a thing. So if the Mustang goes away for a year or two while they revamp and, whatever, it would be awful because it's optics, it's kind of a sign of times, and then people just kind of like get disinterested. Even in 74 and 78, when the gas crisis was happening, they put out a piece of shit Mustang that was gas sipping, but sold a shitload back in the day. I think Ford needs to work with the aftermarket, man. I don't understand why you guys are so anti-aftermarket. First, Jim Farley, you gotta go. You gotta go. You've made a fucking mess of the company. Now there's recalls on fuel pumps for everything. There's another recall. 800 plus vehicles. 800 plus thousand vehicles. Jim Farley's got to go. Number one. Number two, you got to embrace the aftermarket. They'll attribute it to the Fox body package. No, they'll say it was a drift stick. Alex, we know the sales increases because they tossed in the new floor mats. I went poverty level, picked up a 95 Cobra, and I put a Paxton Novi. Boom. You know what, though? The nostalgia must be unbelievable. Just Switch says, speaking of 350, I don't know why they didn't just make the Dark Horse a crossplane 5.2. You want to know why it's a dud? Just look at the Mach 1 GT350 Dark Horse race. That's why it's a dud. I get it. You want the latest and greatest. It's not better than the previous generations. And even with tuning, guys, you're just going to be up to par with the previous generation. And the previous generation has a leg up because there's been so much vetting. So just because you have a new S650, don't think you're just going to pick on similarly equipped Gen 3s. Again, if you have a Whipple S650 and you go up against an ESS at Gen 3 at the drag strip, yeah, you're probably going to beat it. But on a roll, if he's making the same boost and you're rolling, I put my money on it. I put all my chips on the ESS. Alex, out of context, is wild, says wild shit every day. Ears car is what makes me take a serious look at the ESS. Ears? Dual throttle bodies was the best Ford could do to compete with the Corvettes. Can we check on the certain Supercharger's website references a weather event in their name? No, because then they're gonna be like, you're it's terrorism. You're messing with our servers. Trump is Netanyahu's golden retriever. He was just visiting the White House the other day. Oh, that's awful for allies to visit the White House. So did Kenya and Zimbabwe. Don't forget to hit the like stream, guys. 6 on my way to church listening to this. Church? What the fuck? Are you going to church? You talk too much shit to go to church. Zimbabwe Champion says, has it ever been proven that 2 throttle bodies actually improve performance? I know they do in more exotic applications like with dual runner intake manifolds, but the S650 seems useless. Guys, again, whatever the air pump can process is whatever the air pump can process. 2 throttle bodies proves to you that there is no gain with another throttle body, which means there is no gain with a bigger throttle body. If Gen 3 was making damn near 500 rear wheel horsepower with one 80mm throttle body, and the S650 is making the same horsepower with 2 throttle bodies and 2 cold airs, what does that tell you about the air pump? It can only process what it can only process. Now, let's say the motor was a 5.2. And then you put a single throttle body, single throttle body 18 manifold on it, then a dual throttle body 18 manifold on 18 plus manifold on it, or 24 and up manifold on it, and it makes more power. Well, the air pump needed that extra throttle body, that extra volume, and the extra cold air to feed the air pump the proper amount it can process. Right now, a 5-liter dual overhead cam DIPI car is not going to be able to process that much more than the previous generation. And it has been proven on the horsepower numbers that are out there. And again, revving it to 8,000 is so stupid. 9,000. It's not going to keep going straight up. If anything, the Coyote starts to flatline around 7,200, then it just carries out in a straight line. It doesn't drop. It carries out in a straight line. It doesn't go 6,500, 70, 7,000, 7,500, 8,000, like VTEC. It's just not how it works. I'm glad I own a pre-Farley Ford. Look, what would it take for me to be enticed to buy a new Mustang? Supercharged, tunable, stick shift. That's right. Supercharged, tunable, stick shift. Because if that car becomes a drag car, I simply put a turbo 400 in it. I'm not going to play the game of 10R80 world. You're going to see these 10R80s. Look, it's already happened. Have you seen a couple of clout chasers, YouTubers, TikTokers, mostly TikTokers because it's Gen Z douchebags, go out there, clout, then they disappear. And then you're like, hey, is your Mustang for sale? Yeah. What happened? Well, after I blew the transmission and got it fixed, it never shifted right because it needed tuning for the shifting to be right. So I'm selling it. I don't want to play that game. What I would do is get a manual Ford equipped, from Ford, manual from Ford supercharged vehicle. And the tuning is available right now. If the tuning is not available right now, I don't want that fucking thing. That's the only way Ford would ever get me back to pay $80,000+ for a vehicle. But if they're not doing that, I'm not even interested. I'm not remotely interested in that shit. But some people, for whatever reason, they want to play the clout game. They think they're going to become YouTube famous immediately from buying the latest and greatest. And then they find out it doesn't matter. Your $80,000, $90,000, $100,000 investment, hoping that you would be leapfrogged into some kind of fame, literally gains you nothing, and you sell the car 1 year later. It is a big thirst to be up on game and be an authority on something. The only way you're an authority on something is if you have lineage and a background in that platform. You're not going to come out of the weeds, become a famous YouTuber by going wide open throttle on a platform you know nothing about because you were the first. That's just not how it works. We've all seen the Steeda 90mm throttle body video that explains it all. And Steeda, just to let you know, Steeda, you're not going to gain shit by putting the 90s back on with tuning being available. What's the tune got to do? What's the tune got to do? We probably can make the case that look at what Junior did on the live. Look at this. This is great. I'll go back to Junior's live and I'll post something that he did that I think you guys really need to pay attention to, right? Here it is. Junior live. Okay. So I hate how Facebook does live stream. It's just shitty. Senior, junior. Oh my God. Okay. So there's a helicopter outside.
So I'll go over here where it's a little quieter.
No, stay in the car. Stay in front of the car.
Mode you want all the time, So there's still going to be some of that are we going to on a quick initial impression of this?
Come on. I'm trying to find this. There
price.
it is. Okay. So this car was running without any cold airs and no check engine lights, nothing weird. So this car was sitting there idling, chopping away with no cold airs.
And Motec calibrators.
He should have just zoomed in on the motor while it was idling. But I get it. I get why he might not want to do that. But
Credits, just like Gen 3, the trucks will be the same. So whatever's on our website for those, we're going to use the same. It's
I think it was idling when there we go. When the helicopters. That's the problem with
I don't
being
think
near
it's
an
any
airport.
better than the Gen 3 stuff. Ford
Wait.
is a Whipple tune. Darren Thomas. So they still have DI. Is it any better than the Gen 3 stuff? They still have DI. I don't think it's any better than the Gen 3 stuff.
I don't think it's any better than the Gen 3 stuff. So he had the car running with a Camel idle tune with 2 throttle bodies sticking out with no cold air, no check engine lights. That proves to you that if you make you could put 200 millimeters throttle body on front of this car. The air pump can only process what the air pump can only process. Please understand that thought process. The air pump, unless you force the induction, if it's under vacuum all the time, sucking, it's only going to process what it can process. The only way is by forcing it, compressing air over 4, 5, 10 PSI into it. Will it make more power? Thoughts on 2016 Roush RS3? I saw your test drive. Still feel the same? Absolutely. The best vehicle, OEM style, that has ever been offered with a Ford badge is the Roush Stage 3. Plain and simple, Gen 2. See, a ZR1 running 9s in 100 plus degree weather was wild. Didn't you see that? Drag Times released a video of a ZR1 beating a Revuelto in 90. I don't even know why the fuck they went to the track. It is 96 degrees, 10,000% humidity. There's a tornado in the background, and they're going 9s. And they're like, well, that's not that impressive. Pendejo. Just wait until some idiot in the Northeast with a ZR1 goes to Maryland, MIR, Maryland National Raceway, Maryland, and it's 40 degrees outside, and that bitch runs 9.2. It's going to be stupid. But I'm not a douchebag. Skibbity, Riz, bros. What would you have done to improve the Gen 4 from the previous Gen 3? So, okay. I don't know what Ford was thinking. Remember, guys, this Gen 4 was devised under COVID. It was made under COVID. It was designed under COVID. A woman designed it. So what do you have on the shelf that will be able to be certified EPA, CARB, all that stuff? What do you have on the shelf right now? According to Ford, they could not do that with the 5.2. Based on modern standards, they could not improve the performance of the GT by offering a different engine that didn't have some kind of approval. So they would have had to have something in process for a very long time to meet the modern standards. But now that things have been loosened up a little bit, I think a different look. I don't know why a Predator head didn't make its way into this car, unless they're waiting for a premium Mustang like a Cobra, like a something, to get the Predator treatment or GT350 treatment. GT350 head and Predator head, same head. I think the cam grind is similar, except it's just different reluctor on GT500. Again, I don't know this because I'm not an engine guy. And the displacement is the same, except it's cross-plane and lower compression for the Supercharger. But I would have loved to have seen a higher displacement Coyote make its way into the GT to justify the price and enhance the performance. And for the people that have been with 2 years, there is somebody out there right now, I don't know if it's in Alabama or Tennessee or whatever, they were getting their shit pushed in by every other platform. And they're like, God damn it, I bought this 24. I don't want to buy a $12,000 Whipple. I don't want to buy a $10,000 Roush. God damn it, I'm getting my shit pushed in by all these cars that are modded NA. And they have 2 years of getting their ass beat. Now they're like, good. E85 fuels, E85, different cold airs. I don't think the cold airs matter. Sorry, cold air manufacturers. I know you want me to say the cold airs are going to be totally different. If the MAF sensor is not directly affecting the fueling of the vehicle, you can literally run velocity stacks out the bitch and suck in all the hot air. Right? Or keep the factory cold air in there, take the carbon traps out if you want, and then run that shit. That's what I would do. If I were you, I would not update the cold air. I would not update the throttle bodies because we have proven that it does fuck all. E85, fuel system, E85, full muffler, lightweight shit, and now you can play with the Gen 3 guys and barely beat them or stay with them. The dude in the video admitted the air was shit, to be fair. I know HR screwed you guys over because now you're going to get a bunch of kids asking for a tune on their bell mouth bolted to the throttle body. Oh, Junior? No, Junior's smart. Junior's going to go, I know this car is a clout car. See, Junior has an analytical brain. He's not stupid, obviously. And everyone else sucks his dick. Oh, I love how people talk shit online, but then to his 6'4" face, hey buddy, how you doing? Big fan, been watching you for a while. Want to have a beer? I had a beer with them, and they're fine. That Alex guy you got working for you? Fuck him. Then in my face, hey, well, what do you do in the gym? And what do you eat? And do you take anything? Fuck you. Where the fuck was I going with that? Junior knows this car is a clout car. He's not stupid. He knows it's the clout car. So he's probably like, fuck, I guess I gotta support some of the stupidity that people are doing out there. But again, if you decide to run bell mouths out the hood or no hood and run it, when you suck in a bald eagle, that's on you. When you suck in a bird, a blue jay, a crow, that's on you, bro. There's a reason you should filter the air going into the manifold. Probably dumb, but do you think the 350 would be better if the manifold IMRCs? If the manifold IMRCs? No, Reflex. It's a byproduct of the engine architecture, why it's so low on torque. Without adding cylinder DOD from F-150 onto 5.2, Hello, Lund PMAS here. Yeah, hey, well, tell Alex to shut the fuck up. We got to sell PMASs. I don't sell parts. My job is to disseminate the information that's happening out there and dispel all the myths that these fucking cucks of S650 Piranha, like it is so crazy. It's again like throwing meat into a river and seeing these guys go. Rah, 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 rah. They need that influx of cash. You need that influx of cash. Let's be honest. You're barely covering bills. You overextended yourself. You need it to happen. Monday of last week, I'm like, fuck, we're slammed. Tuesday, man, we're busy. Fuck, we're busy. Boom, boom, boom. 2024 tuning comes out. I go, okay, I'm still busy. And I'm one of 3 or 4 tuners at Lund Racing. The reason I say 3 or 4, because when it isn't super busy, they go back to doing customer service stuff. There's one guy dedicated to just vetting the tuning and vetting and shipping. And then the other guy's an IT guy. Then Junior does all of the R&D, and Senior literally runs the show. By the way, one of the most unsung heroes in this whole tuning thing is John Senior. Now, you understand what needs to happen for us to have the best tools possible in order to achieve the best tuning possible? Senior's got to cut deals. He's got to meet in back alleys. He's like, you got this shit? You got this shit? I got this shit. Well, what do you want? What do you want? You got to have that motherfucker in the background doing the dirty shit to make sure that, hey, I'm going to set this company up for success. I'm going to make sure that you have all the tools. I'm going to make sure you have all the data. I'm going to make sure you have everything humanly possible that nobody else has. And there's one thing that Lund Racing has that nobody else has. It's John Senior. And he'll go into the fucking dirt and find shit that we need to find a little parameter, this and this and this and this and that, when everyone else is literally going, hey man, can you add this? Hey man, it hit a limiter. How many emails? How many emails is HP Tuners gonna get from tuners like, hey man, I hit a weird limiter. What do I do here? Fuck, I guess I'll release a patch on Monday, right? Every other tuner that's out there is like asking HP, hey, I hit this, I hit that, I hit this. You know what Junior's doing? You know what Senior's doing? I know what it is. This needs to be added. I know what it is. That needs to be added. Everyone else is like, I don't know, it hit a limiter. Can you tell me what the problem is? They need to pay back PPP loans, piranhas, rats, and raccoons, or stuck in the IAT harness. Oh my God, stuck in the IAT harness is wild work. I'm 5'6". I'm not talking shit to anyone in my line, says Miata Boy. PMA's going to sell no matter what. The data does not lie. Alex, will the ZR1 push Ford to make a 5.5 bigger displacement coyote block? So many people sold their S650s waiting for tuning, and it got released anyway. Ford could have just released it and sold way more cars 2 years ago. Zero logic at Ford. You're right. I agree with you, AJ. I've told you guys, again, the initiated, the people that understand, have heard me yell from the rooftops that tuning needs to be released. Not for my sake. I don't give up. You don't think? Did you think I was born a tuner? I had a whole life before I even gave a fuck about tuning. I made fun of tuning, and that's how I got my job tuning. You understand? I will have a very, very happy life after tuning. Hell, this and other things, if I can maintain it, pays for everything and then some. You know what the Lund Racing check is for? 401k, retirement, dental, health. That's it. 401k, retirement, dental, health. My rent, my cars, my life, everything is paid by you guys, Patreon, YouTube, shirt sales. I don't need tuning. Tuning needs me. Got to have nice server setup for a fiber line to run your remote ship. I'm shocked HP Tuners is still allowing, but you know, honor is missing from tuning. There is no honor in tuning. There is no NDA in tuning. Everyone steals or holds their nose and deals with pieces of shit if the pieces of shit push their agenda. Cheryl is actually the main homie. Cheryl runs the show. Now, eventually, we'll be emerging over to probably Junior. Junior's going to eventually have to run the company. You know, I'm sure he's probably like, I don't want to deal with that. Right? And if he's like, Alex, I need you to step up. I'm like, okay, then I'm not tuning. Like, I'm not tuning. Show me to like help you run shit. I'm not tuning. Yeah, I left the tune. You know, so that's one of those things that could be talked about, but I ain't moving to Tampa. You want quality of life to suffer? Make me move to fucking Zephyr Hills or some bullshit that is not South Florida. Plot twist, Senior got the tuning unlocked for the S650. Alex, do you rate Gen 1 with a Gen 3 bottom end versus Gen 2? I know Gen 2 is King Daddy, just wondering. If you're drag racing, Gen 1 is the one because of the solid rear axle. Alex made fun of tuners, exactly, at 5'8". I have no choice but to be nice. Derek Barron sold his last week because no tuning, but he doesn't fuck for free. Now you know the people that were chasing clout. There aren't people that are diehard Mustang loyalists. I'm extremely mad at the S650 because of what it represented. The future of locking tuning in Mustangs is gonna kill the Mustang. If your future is keep locking controllers out from the people that make these cars fast, the future of Mustang is in jeopardy. So that's why I was pissed off. You guys thought I was pissed off because I wasn't making money? You're not making money. You, without tuning, are not making money. So you need to be like a piranha when a meat is thrown into the river because, there's money to be made. I'm good. If tuning goes away, I'm good. Don't worry about me. Stop making it think like I need 24 Mustang to live. Why look for all the little things when you can just wait for Senior to find it and then rip it off? Junior finds it. Senior gives you the tools to find it. So I think if you wanted to become a good tuner, and actually shout out to, I forget his name, but I saw an episode of Monoxide where Greg Banish, and you could, whatever you think about Greg Banish, I don't dislike Greg Banish at all. I think he's very good, very well spoken. I think Greg Banish understands that you have to have a very in-depth knowledge of how an engine works before you think about tuning it. As opposed to, I can make $100,000 a year tuning? Right? That's not the right approach. I think if you go to a job interview and you're an engineer or you have some engineering background, and he said in that episode, if you don't have a project car that you're insanely dedicated to, I would probably pass you up for someone that did have a project car that they're insanely dedicated to. So when I interviewed with John Lund, I had no computer training. I had no programming training. My math really fucking sucks. But I talked to Senior at the Texas Mile. I'll never forget it. I went to the Texas Mile. My girlfriend was out in Louisiana at the time, probably fucking another dude. And then I ended up going to the Texas Mile because I was bored. I met Jordan Weir there. Jordan Weir was like, hey, Lund Racing is here. And I'm like, oh, I've heard of Lund Racing. That's cool. And I brought my black car with my Bama tuner on it. And I had a JLT intake in the trunk waiting because I hadn't had a tune for it. So I drove there and I was like, wow, these cars are fast. They're cool. Boom. I meet John Lund. John Lund and I start talking. Ken at the time showed me the N-Gauge and the Jeep and showed me how it worked. Junior was like, oh, look, there's YOLO douchebag, blah, blah. So it's kind of cool. And I met Michael Roush from L&M there also. Senior just started talking to me. Yes, what do you think? So I started talking carburetor shit. What kind of cars is it? I had a 85 Mustang with a Edelbrock Victor Jr. Ran like a 12.0, but I ended up putting a Holly 650 and an air gap on it with an MSD 6AL. Ended up running 1170s, 1160s, which told me that, the car really liked carburetor stuff. I went with 430s, and Senior's eyes lit up. He is talking to a guy talking carburetor stuff. This guy's talking to a guy who took out a complete fuel injection system, installed a carburetor system, went 11s in a shit-ass Fox. His eyes immediately lit up. I can talk to this guy. This guy knows engines. All he needs is the tools that I have to tune cars. And that's all you need. A very in-depth knowledge of how engines work, a curiosity, hard work ethic, and Senior and Junior give you the rest. That's all you need. How can you fuck that up? Like, you gotta be a fucking window-licking fucktard to give up a potential six-figure job sitting on your ass hammering out tuning. Bro, stop it. And why doesn't Lund go in on people on Facebook? We're too fucking busy. Now, I make money doing that, but I don't go on Facebook. I make you guys go to my YouTube channel and I get that money. But let's be honest. We're not in there on Facebook refuting what the idiots say because we're too fucking busy. If your tuner is on Facebook, on every group, trying to poach tuning or trying to talk shit on Lund, that means your tuner is not busy enough. Get busier. Agreed, engine knowledge comes first. We're not making money. We're all peasants here. Alex, he was asking if a Gen 1 with a Gen 3 bottom end was better than a Gen 2 bottom end. Yeah, it's more compression, sure. Derek don't race anyway. He makes a car look good and just talks about it, and he doesn't fuck for free. Did you name the new 24 Blur Goose? No. The crazy thing is, I'm not gonna talk about that dickhead. I understand people who say they need tuning the 24s to make money, as if aren't Gen 3s of Coyote's F-150 as well as 350, 350 or 500 that's available to tune. Edmund, that is exactly right. If you need the 24 to make money, what about Gen 1 Mustang? And isn't it funny? Isn't it funny how these guys that talk the most shit only tune one specific style of tuning? Stock throttle body. When was the last time you heard these Facebook guys that pop off tune a 163 millimeter throttle body on a locked cam 5.4 with a Coyote tune? Hell, I caught red-handed a tuner sucking off a Lund tune. Sucking off the Lund tune to tune that setup. I'm like, ain't that funny? So those guys that talk all that shit, they're stock throttle body tuners, ESS, turbo, and NA. But now when you introduce a different throttle body, you introduce a wild engine combo, you introduce a Cobra, or you introduce a 3-valve with a Coyote timing system and a Coyote throttle body on. Oh, bro, where's the base file for that? You didn't copy that into Dropbox, did you? Tuning went full circle and went learn to code phrase. That is funny. Most tuners are too lazy, just not smart enough to figure out tuning on a car because it takes time to figure it out. Reading someone else's file is what most do. They claim they tune. I agree. But there are people that are talented enough to figure it out, but that's hard work. And the people that say copy, paste, copy, paste, copy, paste, let's have a conversation about copy, paste, dickhead. When you get a tune order, do you start with their stock file and manually go to every spark table? Manually go to every torque table? Manually go to every torque reduction? Manually go to all the fueling tables? No, you import stuff you've already done. Template applicator, 15 to 17 spark, 15 to 17, Roush, you name it, whatever you want to name it. You go in there and you're like, looks good, send it. That is literally copy paste. Or do you go, no, I want to tune custom. Oh, custom. Change every spark table to something you already know. Change every torque table to something you already know. Turn off torque reduction, shut off switches, shut off IMRC, da-da-da-da. Here you go. You would get 1 tune done a day. Shut the fuck up. All of you copy vetted files that have been proven over many cars and upload it to the next guy with his serial, his VIN, and his RTD or whatever, or LRX serial number. So stop it with the bullshit. You are exactly what you rail against. Nardi, can you imagine how much more vegetable oil FLKA has to put in beef? Oh, those guys just keep burying themselves. Some guy made a meme making himself look like a cuck, and I'm like, don't you understand that you're calling yourself a... The amount of Lund isn't good for NA comments or too much. People think that they can't tune NA. It's just coping because they can't hang with any boosted Lund cars. In 2015, we had a 9-second Gen 2 NA car, Robert Ball. In 2018, we've had multiple 9-second NA cars. Maybe you don't hear about them because they're not in Arizona or they're not in the West Coast. It's just some guy that probably has a corporate job and he has a side hustle and he runs at his local track and he goes, "Hey Lund, your NA tune worked really well with a mix of fuel and it went 980. Oh, okay. Rami Zaidan has a customer in Puerto Rico, 80. It's literally soup in the air. It's running 10.1 NA. And I'm like, dude, that's quick for Puerto Rico. You bring that bitch up to MIR on a 40-degree day, it'll run 980. Stop it. I work in the field of engineering, and I'll take a millwright, ironworker, pipe fitter, welder, inspector, or any desk engineer any day of the week. The leeches won't need Lund this time because the HP tuner sent base files. No. I'm not even gonna get started on that because it's like a snowball effect. I can't stop talking about it once I start. The only custom tuners that are local fucking guys that have no clue about coyotes have running like shit. Wouldn't you say without the variable of people beating the fuck out of their cars, Lund tune would make a car more reliable than a stock tune? No. So a stock tune has pretty heavy knock sensor prevention, knock sensor interference. Look, Junior said this thing knocked. I'm like, what do you mean it knocked, Junior? It's NA stock. He goes, Alex, it knocked. It took spark advance away. So how the fuck does an NA car on pump gas on the Ford tune knock and it pulls timing? Then you shove a Whipple on it with pump gas, double the horsepower, and it doesn't knock? Shut the fuck up, please. If only they can copy teeth brushing techniques. I only use SET. My files are my files. But yes, I have Valley files. I built for different combos. Right. You don't go in there and go, let me start from scratch. No, you say, okay, open tune, win 3. Template applicator or open value files. And you go JLT, injectors, torque tables, spark tables, E85. Then you go and do a compare. And you go, okay, everything transferred over properly. Save the file, send it to your guy. You don't go, oh, let me go to borderline knock 1, borderline knock 2, borderline knock 3. Oh, VCT. Lock it in every angle conceivable and dial in every single angle at every single torque table at every single spark. Shut the fuck up. I'm out later. Thank you, sir. Muji World says, hi, Alex. Besides Lung Tune, do you recommend any supercharger or turbo for daily Mach 1 auto? I plan to take it for a track day, racing a few times a year. Appreciate the channel knowledge. If it's a auto Mach 1, I would highly opt in for an ESS G3X or a 2650 if you're drag racing. But if you're roll racing and it's an auto, I would highly encourage you to get a centrifugal for drag racing. You get yourself a positive displacement supercharger Whipple. I like the TVS. I'm a TVS guy. I'm always gonna love the TVS stuff. I remember you made a live on the Puerto Rican NA car, right? Mercury, my Whipple melted my cat 500 miles into my brand new 22. Went to Lund. My car runs great for 3 years, daily driven. Watch Lund go away and Mustang tuning goes away. I don't think so. I think if Lund goes away, you're stuck with a bunch of shit ass tuners. Some of them might emerge as better than the rest, but it's the best of the shit. You know what I mean? I've seen your shit. I've seen it. I've seen your methods. I've seen how you do it. I've seen the shit you talk. Nobody's impressed. Will you show the chat the ZR1? I will, eventually. Not right now. You look, if you're on my Facebook or my Instagram, you saw what I did with the ZR1. I posted up that the motor is in, the hood shuts, and it is, you could see that Mustang intake manifold through the clear opening of the hood, and I would say 95% of the comments are positive. Bro, this chat has me dead. That lifestyle guy has some shark mouth. Yeah, are you surprised? I'm about to disclose from joining the Patreon again. I love this community. I do talk to nobody local, so you guys are my friends. Why would you unjoin the Patreon? The last week, it's been on fire. If you really want to talk that shit. But again, if you get sideways and start screenshotting stuff from that stuff, you will get found out. We'll dox the ever-living shit out of you. So you go in there, you come correct. All right, guys, I'm going to get out of here. I got some Toto to maybe line up. Today, we talked about the S650 psychosis, the craziness where people are out there trying to get tuning out, and now they're hitting limiters. They're not... The Lund Racing modus operandi is to vet the file, make sure everything is good. Then we will release files, and more than likely we'll release files on multiple different options, let's just say, so that you can have more options than not. Let's just say that. All right, guys, I'm going to get out of here. Again, thank you very much for hanging out there with me. I'll be back on Tuesday for Talking Shit Tuesday. We'll see. I guarantee between now and Tuesday, a whole bunch of little shit is going to happen when it comes to the tuning stuff. So it'll be a fun time to give you updates on what's happening, what we found, if Junior did some dyno stuff, or if people just keep talking shit and being like piranhas in the water. Have a good rest of your Sunday. I'll see you guys on Tuesday. See you later. Bye.